Okay, so we are back out of our executive session at 7:41. Mike, continue.
All right, I don't know where you want to start on this equipment. If you want to go with a rubber tired excavator or a Gradall, they're basically this kind of the same piece of equipment with the exceptions is the Gradall telescopes in and out. And the reason I'm bringing this up is this excavator, running that up and down the roads. I got a lot of work that's gotta be done on Utley Road, and we did it. It's all right when it's cold. Once the warmth comes, hits these roads, we run this steel track heavy excavator, you're gonna tear your roads up. They're asking about the Gradall. This is what they've had since probably back in the late '60s. This is not the most expensive. This model here, you drive right where you operate. It goes about 20 miles an hour. But it telescopes in and out. Where the two-piece boom on this rubber tired excavator, you've got the two booms that are underneath the trees and whatever. You gotta lift up a lot higher to get up and over. They're both on OGS or Sourcewell or State Bid.
Mike, I have a question. Is there a way to get rubber tracks for the excavator we have now?
No, they don't put them on that big machine.
And number two, do you have to have a brand new Gradall, or can you find something way less expensive? Because here's my burning issue, Mike, and this is from me, okay? My burning issue is, because I seen the guys on Utley doing work. They seem to be doing fine. So we have a very expensive piece of machinery that the only additional thing you have to do is load it up on a trailer and trailer it out to the work site. Okay, but now we're contemplating buying another $200,000+ piece of equipment for the same kind of mission. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm just saying from my perspective, Mike, and kind of one of the spokespersons for the taxpayers. Man, that's a lot of money.
And is it
I
more?
understand that way before me, I guess there was a Gradall at the town,
In 1987, they purchased it in 91 or 2.
brand new.
No,
it was
used. They paid 30.
Have you considered that?
I have. Matter of fact, I have prices.
Isn't it more cost effective to just rent it? Comes out to like
Patty
8 years.
asked, is it more cost effective to rent one when we need
$10,000 a month.
10,000?
But how many hours are you putting on the machine annually? You understand what I'm saying? For what you're anticipating using it for, how many hours do you think you would be using it?
The Gradall or rubber tired excavator.
Yeah.
Man, I got it. It's hard to say, Joel. I mean, right now I've got probably 2 weeks' work just on Utley Road.
Yeah.
Because we got 3 driveways to do. Well, if you're there, you're gonna do the whole ditch in front of their house.
That's what I seen him working on. Yep.
Yep. And I got one that's gotta be reset because it floated. I've got piping job, Draper Road. I've got road ditching up on South Ayers. It's so hard to say, but
Mhm.
you could have a crew out, you know, when the weather's good and that, a lot of the summer.
Mhm.
On less traveled roads, I could probably get away with 3 guys. A road like Utley Road, where I need traffic control, you're gonna need 4 guys.
We got traffic lights, Mike?
No. John,
Those are expensive too.
75
Yeah.
grand for one.
75 grand for traffic?
You know how they set them up here and there?
Oh, okay.
They're about $75,000.
Combos.
So you're talking
Used,
2008. This town is thinking of getting a new one. The town board hasn't gave the highway superintendent permission to order a new one.
mhm,
So naturally, they're not gonna get rid of the old one until they get the
Sure.
new one. He thought that one, it was in decent shape and that you could get for maybe 45. Now, would I have a problem? No, it's just the idea of finding one.
I
right,
tell you what, Mike, I have no problem if you can find one in the $40,000 to $50,000 range and figuring that you have to maybe refurbish it and put another 10 to 15,000 into it to get it to where you need it to be. I think that would be the way to really go
Well, let me-
for it.
The 87 that we had, and I don't know if you guys know Don wanted to put 26 grand into this one to get it. And we weren't even guaranteed that 26 grand would have got it to where,
mhm.
you know, we would drive it down the road, the thing would quit. Or we would drive it to the thing, we started operating and it would quit. And then the electrical problem,
So you're just have you been looking like town to town? Have you looked at, is there anything like on Auctions
There was
International?
one at
or-
Caledonia Diesel, Mike.
yeah, I saw that one. There was,
What was that on? Auctions International?
No,
no,
that-
they
it
have
was-
their own
they have their
website.
own-
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Machinery Trade or something like that, there's all, you know.
okay.
And a lot of these are California,
Yeah.
Kansas City, Oklahoma.
Mm.
So Emily, how would that, how you kind of spec what year you'd be looking for hours if we went out for that?
You
Sure.
take if you saw this one here. And you say, okay, I want a 2008 or nowhere.
Spec it off the one you want?
Yeah,
basically?
like this one had 4,372 hours, so you'd put that or less, you know, and kind of spec it out what's on here. And then just put it out to bid.
Now, where'd you go for that one, Mike?
Alta, Joe, the salesman from Alta Company, and this one's in,
So it's like a regional search?
Altec is, it used to be, they're right here in Batavia.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a national outfit in Altec.
They are, Altec's national, yes.
Oh, they are. They could come from anywhere.
They, so this one here was at Carmine, Mohawk, New York, down in Carmine or something.
Mm-hmm.
So this was kind of local, we'll
Okay.
we'll take a look at it. We've been down as far as,
Poughkeepsie, did you ever go to
we're
Poughkeepsie?
pretty close down that way.
Hmm.
We were down that way looking, Dean and I went. But I, you know, if you get something decent for 50, 60,000. But again, why are the people getting rid of it? You know, are you gonna get something that's gonna be in the shop, being repaired, have to put a ton of money into it?
Would a grade all require fewer village, town workers than the excavator to do the job?
No, one man operates it. It's just that the grade all, the boom telescopes in and out. It's not
So
still,
there's no difference in the number of personnel.
No, you'd still have to have traffic guys out there, though, right?
yes, depending on the road.
One driver, one operator and two traffic. But
With,
the,
with this
grade
here,
all
you don't
drives
have to
it.
trailer it around.
You don't have to trailer. But you go at 20 miles an hour max.
Again, if it's something like this, the 3,100 is like what we had.
There's
So-
an exception to the procurement for secondhand items, but I just need to double check the amount. Because obviously it's very different consideration looking.
Well,
at
it's hard to
secondhand.
bid it because by the time you bid it, and we get everything done, the thing could be down the road.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to double check
So-
that I know that there is an exception. I'm just not sure if
Okay.
there's a maximum amount.
Yeah, Mike, just from my perspective, though,
It's something you're
man, it
gonna
is
around forever.
hard for me to chew on a brand new, you know, $250,000 piece of equipment.
I understand.
Right. But, and I understand where you're coming from also.
It's something that's gonna be around, it's something that
Right.
when you need it, it's gonna be there. I mean, even take okay, we got a plug ditch with ice and snow. Now you gotta load the excavator on the trailer and trailer it down. Here, this way you call one guy, you get down there,
Mhm.
you're done, you know, I mean, I'm not opposed to even the rubber tired excavator.
I would rather have you make good points, Mike, on the boom. That's where Great All basically got their name from, right?
Right.
So, like I said, I can't speak for everybody here, but if you can find something in that range and figuring that as long as the hydro is all good on it and the engine is strong on it, the rest of the stuff you can kind of deal with. I mean, before you're talking about one that was from 1990s, I hope that today, and sometimes technology can bite you in the butt, but I hope they have ways of scanning things that you really couldn't do on those machines back then to troubleshoot them.
Right. You plug them in.
Yeah.
What are we using now?
If you
We-
get one a little older, I don't think you have to worry about the DEF on them either, right? I don't know what year they started on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Alden's is an 04. And I'll go back. When Dean was here, I promised Alden when we borrowed it, it was always there. And he's the only guy I'm gonna put in there. When we borrow something from somebody, I'm not just gonna.
Well, that's a wise decision.
And I
know,
says,
I
guys,
guess.
And I
Yeah.
talked to him the other day, they says it's here. I said, I'm not gonna just put it in.
Well, Chris would be good, but you got him in the shop, right?
I don't know how much Chris is running great on, to be honest with you.
Well, he's pretty good on the equipment, so. Penny, what'd you say?
What are we using now? 2008? I couldn't hear what we're using.
Oh,
now.
we don't have anything. We have an excavator right
Excavator
now,
that they.
Oh, okay.
do
a
the
track
location.
machine.
But Mike's concern there was, as the roads heat up, that track can
And
do
the way-
damage to
way
the
it-
roads.
Okay.
When you're gonna get with rubber tires or rubber track, you're still gonna get some scuffing in that.
Mhm.
And maybe if it's really hot picking up.
You won't leave the ridges.
Yeah.
A little like the little speed
Rumbles,
bumps.
rumbles, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. We track pads and everything. Big vehicles.
Anyone look for,
Well, I don't think it's
Just
just a
a-
look, but I wanna
No.
hear what else you got to say, because I know there's lifts on the list,
yeah,
right? And those are expensive and,
the lifts are, got prices here over a year ago. And I just got another price just to, up the snuff about a lift and
that's Ortex shop.
No.
the lift, I had pictures, it's basically a ramp comes up and there's 6 of these portable lifts that go under each axle. So there's 3 on each side.
That's separate from the lift though, right? That's lift the truck up, so you can lift the truck off the ground, right?
Right,
And then the lift will lift the whole truck tires and everything right
No.
up. Oh,
the lift is basically a ramp that you can pull up the truck on.
get it set.
Then underneath it, you can lift up with it, or you can use your lifts.
Okay,
And then,
so that just positions the truck, Mike?
yeah,
Okay, and then can them lifts be used independently without under there, or they
Yes.
stay, okay,
you could pull that, it rolls away.
okay.
If you didn't want to use it and you wanted to put the ramp over to the other bay, you could reel it out. If you wanted to roll it out to cold storage, you could.
And now this is similar to what you showed us last time.
These are the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And I could have sworn,
We're okay.
I could have sworn
majority
that
of work
we
was
were ready to
okay.
move forward on that, and I have no idea why it just fizzled away. I could have, all of us were on the same sheet of music with regards to the lifts, and then it just died.
I had the prices and I didn't think for the price that he gave. Actually, this price here is a few $1,000s less than the run back a year ago.
Really?
Like $3,000.
Really?
Yeah, cause you brought them up, not the last budget, but the budget before you brought those up, like, we were,
I had mentioned the freight cost and the other commodity surcharge was like 20 grand.
Yep,
Now it's a little over 12.
I recall that.
So what are we looking total now, Mike?
148, 898.60. That is with, okay, they're set up in the training, the freight surcharge and the commodity surcharge. There's 4 portable lifts that are rated for 75,200 pounds. The remote control operation, the column with the batteries to power it. And there's 2 lifts at 37,600 pounds each feet for the front end.
The only question I would have, Mike, is would you have to have another bay for maintenance then? Because that's gonna take that whole bay up pretty much, right?
Well, we do use the first 2
Oh,
right
okay,
next to Chris's.
okay.
So, and like I said, if we had to, we can always just even roll it outside or roll it in total storage. There's a mobile lift. There's 4 20,000-pound jack stands. There's 4 in all, frame kit that comes with it.
So if I can interrupt this for a second, Mike, or maybe like Doc.
I'm still on DEF.
So what's nice about that is you can move those,
Don't know what
you can lift
depth
the
is.
truck up, put it under
Yeah.
jack stands, and you still have those lifts to work on other things while you might have a truck laid up, and you still can utilize your equipment.
Yeah, there's lifts and then there's lifts,
And then jack stands.
not to be confused
The
with.
DEF is to burn off the exhaust. It's part of
It's
the
an acronym for.
For the diesel, yeah. It's on all new diesels.
diesel exhaust.
Fumigation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably.
Okay, so it seems everybody appears to be on board with moving forward with this.
So Patty probably won't be, but
Wow.
Come on, Patty.
Well, that should have been put in the building when they built it.
it should have.
I
Oh,
agree,
absolutely, yeah,
I
sure.
agree,
Yes.
Doesn't make
That's
sense.
right.
right.
I mean, the floor wasn't even poured. It was the square.
Mike showed me pictures that he had taken of Chris working
I just showed
me,
underneath the
yeah.
vehicles. It's like, what are we doing? Why is he laying on the ground in the middle of the winter underneath these vehicles trying to work on
We could be taking a nap too.
them? I don't know about that.
Don't tell him I said that.
No,
So by not buying a year ago, we saved $3,000 more dollars. We saved
That's what I
$3,000.
got lucky.
We'll take it.
And more for the freight.
So Emily, what do we need to do to,
So this is on a public contract or we're not sure?
it is.
So
Is it on there? It should be on there. I'm not sure if it's Sourcewell or was that the one for buy board? It might have been buy board. I'll have to call him up and ask him.
What manufacturer is that? Did you look in the gray? I think it's called gray, Mike. I don't know if it's spelled J or GRA or GRE. Someone that said they checked into their list. I guess if we have to get another quote or whatever.
like I said, I don't think it's a bad idea, even if
Yeah.
something is at this amount of money. It's definitely not a bad idea to get a couple written quotes. I don't see the contract info on here, so, and we need the actual contract to make sure it was publicly let. So,
I mean, we've got the specs right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What's the school have, Mike? What kind of, do they have that lift or?
I believe they do in the town of Lancaster. That's why I went over to the town of Lancaster and looked at their stuff.
So it's reliable.
And what's nice about the ramp when you drive up on, underneath the side of the frame, there's all kinds of lights. And there's hoses, air hoses plugged, so you just have to plug one hose into there, and you got all these other outlets that you can plug your airlines into on this.
To bring 100 feet of airline out when you're working
Right.
on it. and
So you
People
implement
tripping
stuff,
over it.
Tools and stuff.
Convenience. Safety.
Is there's, do you know if the school, well, Lancaster's probably spec'd out like this one, right?
Yeah.
The schools, I wonder what theirs is, cause I can't imagine a school bus weighs anywhere near what.
I don't think the school bus, they have the ramp to go up, they have the portable lifts.
Oh,
And the
okay.
jack stands and that.
And you can service tractors and everything on this, and for the most part, you think?
I would think so.
It sure would help. If you gotta get it. Bring
It's
oil or
really like,
something.
well, it's not much draining oil, it's when you gotta wrestle an oil pan. How do you get two guys under there laying on their backs when you can grab a guy and you're both standing up and get it in place?
Agreed.
That's just one incident, there'll be numerous incidents.
The width of the tractors are smaller than the trucks, so are they adjustable on this? The ramp you're talking about?
Yeah.
So we can either bid it ourselves or we can get other quotes and make sure this one is, like, there's no information. And going back to the grade all, if we expect that price is gonna be over 20,000, then we need to go out to bid, even if it's used. If you have specs that you want for that, then and everybody wants to move forward and going out to bid for that, then we can do
Well, I wanna see what else we got going
I
on.
have, I had to find one.
that. Okay.
The other thing is, remember that tractor we talked about? Same thing. Back. When we got the price back in, since 10/31. Total price for the tractor and the side booms, in the rear boom motors, was 113,866. Got an up-to-date quote, 411. 133,481.69.
So what,
20,000 increase.
Yep,
and what did you look at, like, is that the Massey Ferguson?
yes.
Did-
And then
Don't, what about a John Deere, Mike?
John Deere, they wouldn't even get,
Because I
this
mean,
isn't today, the John Deere in New Holland,
or New Holland, yeah, because I know,
the time wait was like over a year. John Deere wouldn't even tell me.
because again, keeping things simplistic with, we got a John Deere in New Holland, we don't have a Massey.
No, the reason that was because that was available. When we were talking about it, we could go get it. New Holland told me it'd be over a year before you got one. John Deere wouldn't even tell me that a year, year and a half, or whatever.
And this one's still available?
There is one.
See, that's concerning to me, because why are the other ones being used for this process, or, you know, for what you're using it for?
We went
This
down
one-
to the town of Carlton and they did demo it and everything. Like more, did a decent job.
What's the pricing difference from a New Holland? I mean, you probably, can you get numbers on that,
I
the
can-
John Deere and New Holland? Cause we probably have to spec it the same anyways, and then it'll
Yeah.
go according to availability, right?
Right.
We can do that, I can call,
Well, that would be the justification if we move forward with it, yes,
Yeah,
and that would take precedence, is availability, yeah.
we could, yeah.
Right, you
And then
can
what-
indicate, when you're indicating what the best value is based on, you can indicate a number of different things.
Okay. And what would you be getting rid of once
that open cab
the
one.
open cab?
I
And
think
you
it's-
still have, then you'll have 3 roadside tractors
You'll have the,
and the boom mower?
Yeah.
So 4?
the open cab, I believe, is an 87.
To be trading them in, or would?
Probably
they put
auctions
them
and
on?
Oxys International.
Okay.
Honestly, I got people saying they buy them right now from us, that one.
Yeah.
It just makes it a lot safer with the cab for the summertime, and you never know if you're gonna get into a bee's nest or any stuff like that, it just makes the working.
Tree limb fall on your head.
Yeah. Makes the environment a lot safer.
Safety's not a bad way to go.
And I think,
And when do you want it, Mike? Yesterday? I mean, if we're talking about
we
specing
have
something
to.
You know,
down
I don't
with a
even know if-
timeline,
I
What
don't,
is
I
the-
don't know if even the side and the rear floor motors are available, the tractor is,
okay,
so.
So that
We're
might,
here to-
that might be able to help you decide, okay, a John Deere or a New Holland, if the flail mower's on the same time, you can, it helps make that decision also.
I can call Carl tomorrow from. Blacksburg.
Well, I think you should call the flail mower people first.
Well, they would have an idea.
Okay,
The
oh,
tractor-
okay, I
The
got you.
tractor people would have an idea.
Okay.
And I can. Sounds like it goes through sales, and I'll have to go over there. And the last one is, side by side. I know we're borrowing in villages.
43.
I have a quote on the side by side, and I know it's gonna be, you're gonna say, what the heck? But I put in there with tracks, that took it up considerably, just because of what we went through with the winter this year, with the one storm.
I've got it here, Mike, if you don't have.
Oh, I saw it there. Well, I mentioned before, side by side, we're using the side by side more and more with field ditches and driving down them, and if the tree is not that big, we've got our two guys go down, boom, should cut it up, throw it out of the way. We would really like to, with this GIS, you start at one end of the field ditch, you drive down, plot it, boom, we're done.
Till next windstorm.
Well, I
For
got
a while, anyway.
yeah, I got a spot on Big Campbell's, talked with him, there's like about 10 in this one area. I says, do you have a problem pushing them down? That way we're done, that area is clean. Go do what you have to do, put them off the site. It just will save time to, like, we're going out tomorrow. I think hopefully we can get the villages and plotting this end over here, the northwest of the town, seeing what ditches need the excavator. And then we're going working up south. We've already started off of Scotland Road on, Spooty Bruning's ditch. That's been cleaned. We're over by County Road. We're in there. The other excavator is on Jimmy Odell's. And then he's working out around by Perry's. So that's what we're doing. The excavator would, or I mean, the side by side would be enclosed with air or whatever, windshield. We'd have a fuel tank on it. We could carry our chainsaws or whatever. If we needed it to run down the bike path. It just, and I hate borrowing the villages. I'm tired of hearing about get your own, why do you guys have your own?
I never heard that. John Cummins told me you can borrow it anytime you guys want. I don't know what the other guys are saying.
Yeah, well,
They're not
that's
in
what
charge though.
That's true. But again, theirs is,
What about a joint purchase?
an item that you want to be joint. That's my opinion. We got that one roller, that seemed to be working out. This here. And actually, the highway guys don't use it, I think it belongs to the Darien, the water plant, but it's down here.
What about a big truck, Mike? What's our oldest big truck? What year?
Oh, one.
01.
Well, now that you brought that up, I asked Dawn if we got our second snowplow contract, and I'll run this by you guys. We're gonna get a snowplow check coming sometime in
From
April,
the county?
and we'll get one in December. My thought is, would it be feasible to see what money we have left over from this year, or the money that we're getting at the end of the year? At least putting an order in for the cab and chassis.
My thoughts are on the big trucks. How many we have? 6, Mike? 6 or 5?
Well, right now we've got 6, the 04 is gonna go.
So we have 5.
Yeah.
Usually it's okay. So every 3 years, if we can get on a schedule with that, we wouldn't have a truck older than 15 years old when it goes out compared to like 22 years now.
Plus your value would be a lot.
At 15 instead of 23, and plus I believe, well, it all depends, I guess, but yeah, I honestly believe that that should be on a regular schedule,
I,
and we should try and stick with that because of the what's the snowplow contract, are we allowed to talk about this in an executive session?
here's the schedule that we kind of got away with. Is it all over whatever, but the cost of them, we got probably 255 in this one here, so we just got it.
We always know that when the new ones cost a lot more, that the used ones are gonna go up in value also.
So if you can get half your money out of it, or pretty close to it, rather than paying 3/4 and coming out of your pocket.
And how much life do we get out of the salter and sander? Would we be able to rotate them less? Are they easy to, well, the ones you're getting, they're aluminum now, right?
They're stainless.
Stainless, so that should last a little longer where we can maybe not have to get a new one every time we get a new truck, right?
The one that got damaged came with that truck in '01. So
Okay.
it's 22, 23 years old. And we have been.
And that wasn't stainless.
It was.
Oh, that one was stainless,
Yeah.
okay.
But what we've been doing is just using the same ones that were there when I came. We've been changing the bearings, oiling the chains, maybe replacing an apron chain. You know, and maintaining them.
So we should be able to get 2 salters or 2 trucks with 1 salter, basically, should be pretty, unless an accident or something happens.
Easily.
Okay.
It's the ones we got now have been around.
Yeah, you said 20 years, so if we're on a 15 cycle, that sander should last 2 trucks, maybe 3 if you had to. It's just a matter of keeping it, because we don't salt hard on the bearings and conditions are in.
And like, we pull them out, we check the bearings, we grease them a couple times, you know, and then we oil the chains when we take them out or put them in. Now these new ones that have augers. But it's something to think, if we do have the money in this, extra money in the snowplow budget, to at least order a cabin chassis. If you can only absorb the cost of the cabin chassis this year, and then at the first of the year, go out to bid then for the box, the dump body, and the plow and the wing and the hitch, front hitch.
Are all of our stainless right now? Because we're getting, what are we getting, 2 or 3? 2 or 3, so that's
Everything,
that's 3/5 of the fleet right there, so, and so how old are the other 2? That's gotta be the oldest one, right? That's 20 years old?
yeah.
So if we don't get it,
These, 2 of them don't have a sander. They have a side dump. The inline,
yeah. Are those stainless or no?
no,
Okay.
no.
So you'd like to update to like, to get everything like the stainless ones are?
Right, a
eventually?
regular dump body and the sliding sander.
What are we looking at lead time on these? Like if we make a commitment that we wanna go ahead,
I can ask, we got a highway meeting, Thursday.
okay,
I can just see what,
So, and what's the next year truck under, one is 22 years old, what's?
there's an '01 and an '04.
So
The '04 is gonna go before the '01.
Oh, that's right, you did say that. So we're a little bit behind the 8 ball on some of that. So right now we have what, 2 Sterlings, 1 Sterling's going,
Yes,
then we have 2 Freightliners,
yes.
the
A
Peterbilt
and a
and
Kenworth.
The Kenworth is, how's that been?
09.
How's that been? Cause that one was like tearing us up and
Yeah,
things just going bad.
I wasn't happy, I mean, just the things that went wrong, the particular filter,
Is it okay now? Has it been running okay?
everything's running, they went in for a clutch adjustment, the other day. They got it in there, and there was something they needed adjusted, and they did something else, that's fine. The Peterbilt, we used to haul the trailer around automatic.
The Freightliners are automatic too, right?
Yeah.
The Kenworth
That's a standard.
And the Sterlings are standard. All right.
Anybody have any other questions?
I mean, I
for
can
Mike?
make some calls to the tractors. I will keep looking, I will probably see Joe from Altech at the meeting. He knows more now on that 08. It seems, from what he says, it's in good shape. There is some sort of warranty when you first get it.
Is that an entire Altech machine or just the boom?
The great all is the machine, total machine and the boom, the telescopes in and out, twist this way. So when you're basically a ditch, you'll come out this way and you'll just raise up a little bit, come over. Well, with the two-piece boom, they call it the stick. You have more of the angles and stuff like that with these booms to reach up and get out.
But is all the chassis there? Who is that? Is that-
That's a Hyundai, I think it is.
That was more just curiosity, you know.
Also with the, and I think you can get that on the excavator, a wheeled excavator, the rotating bucket on both machines, or just create all of that, right?
No, you can get the wrist or twist on
Okay.
it, yeah, that was all figured in on this one here for
Yes.
263,
The wheel excavator,
yeah,
Okay.
it had 60-inch tilting ditching bucket, 30-inch digging bucket, a 36-inch digging bucket. There's 5 hours on the warranty, 40,000. There's a Cummins diesel dozer blade with outriggers, two-piece boom, enclosed pad, air ride. But we can keep looking for the great all, and well, we might have to travel a few places to go look at it and somebody run it. And,
well, yeah, you
Norwich,
definitely,
New
if you're
York
buying
is-
a used, if we're looking to look at a used one, you definitely have to crawl all over that. And
It was Norwich, New York,
if we can,
where we went out.
I don't know who you'd get, but you might. It'd be nice if we knew someone or had someone that really had knowledge on them, right, as far as what to really look for on them. If you think that you. and
Well, you
Chris
can
do
take it out and
that.
see how tight it is or how it drives. And then you look underneath it, and if you see oil or anything like that dripping or.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell sometimes with the internal leaks, you really gotta run the machine, right? Cause you can have internal leaks with hydraulic systems and also that things start to
Which is-
fade on you.
Once you start digging, and
Yeah,
might create a leak or whatever.
well, they could just be internal leaks, it just starts bypassing valves and you won't be leaking anywhere and you don't have the power that you should have. I think. Did you know that person at the highway department that has that one where they're waiting for the town board?
No, Joe
Yeah.
was telling me that was it, what did I tell you?
Oh, okay.
Joe was saying that they were contacting him about, but they haven't committed.
I mean, 4,000 hours is not bad. I think those machines, you're gonna get 10,000 hours. And if we put 200 hours a year, if that, you're gonna have a lot of hours that you can still use up on a used machine before you
Mohawk,
get
New
there.
York. Town, someplace in Mohawk, New York town. I mean, it don't look like a bad machine. You don't need a tandem axle.
Yeah, it'd be nicer to get a single, less tires to replace. and
Yeah.
brakes and-
All right, well,
Okay.
we gave you a lot of homework.
I will forward, the accountability list, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming in. Mike.
I see the grass is being planted. Water and sewer.
5 corners.
5 corners.
Yes, I have a report from Scott. He just emailed me this afternoon. He said, for the group, DGM is almost finished with restoration. We were in the field with them last week and are out working with them today to confirm quantities of restoration for their final bill for the project. Should be done soon, crossing fingers.
I think all the asphalt's done, now they're putting grass seed, there's a little stretch there that's not quite done and a little bit of debris,
Yeah,
rocks and pipes and whatever.
yeah. And he said he and I are gonna get together one day this week and talk about the parking lot. So we'll see what comes of that, what he's got thoughts there. So that was our water sewer updates. I know that there's a lot here, but we're gonna move through these quickly because I know we took a lot of time at the beginning. Muir Woods, can you pass that to Emily?
I think that needs to be an executive session.
Oh, okay, well, hold off on Muir Woods then, okay, but you can still have that. We'll move on to the next one. You guys, I put one of these in everybody's box. This, in cleaning out the office over the last week, I found in Dave's basket. And it was dated January 9th, which was the day before he left. And I have a feeling that nobody saw this, that it sort of got left on the desk for the last 3 months. So I wanted to make everybody aware of it. I know that we obviously have a lot of restrictions as far as what we can do or cannot do with the airport. But I thought that everybody should definitely see it. And frankly, I'm surprised because typically when they're gonna do something like this, they come to us for a municipal endorsement. And they obviously have not done that yet, but I'm assuming at some point they will. So I wanted everybody to have a copy of this to be able to digest it. So that when they do come to us and ask, we maybe have questions, comments, concerns for
Was the
them.
village of Akron?
Does it have to have a public hearing?
I don't know.
Will it have to be a public hearing for that?
The municipal endorsements, I do not believe we had public hearings
There might bring a lot of
before.
people. Okay,
It's been so long since we've done one for them. I think we'd have to look back and see.
I don't
What
think
we
we've
did
done one
before.
since I was on the board, I don't remember one.
Yeah, it's
that I
been a
can recall.
while, so, but I just wanted you all to be aware of this and that it is something that could be coming down the pipeline at some point. And to your point, I do not know if this was shared with the village or not, so I can reach out to Jane
Just
and
out of
ask her.
curiosity.
Yeah,
Was there anything else that you found in the mail?
oh, we found a few things, but everything's being addressed and taken care of, so. You know, it's a tough thing, because you try not to go poking around too much, you don't want to invade his space with everything that was going on, but yet. You know, we find things, so,
Well, thanks for.
just
having
an
me.
FYI on that.
Yeah.
Also, this contracts, I started re-looking at the annual contracts. So there were 3 that we still had not done yet that we are gonna need to do. That's the Akron Central School, the Clarence Central School tax collections. And we did not do a renewal with Hawkins, Delafield and Wood for bond council. So I'm wondering if we probably want to do that just in case. Do you think we need to do that?
Colin had asked me about it, and there was a resolution in December.
Well, there was, but he listed it as bond council when he listed it under the resolutions. But that one was actually for municipal solutions. It wasn't for Hawkins.
Do we need
Attached.
both? Are they 2 different things or?
Yes, they're 2 different things.
Okay,
Yes.
so unless we have a project that's going to come up, I don't think we need to have bond council on retainer, and I don't think there's anything
So
planned
we'll
for
just
this year. So
worry
I
about
think
it if we
it's
need
something
to.
to worry about next year. Because
Okay,
the attorney had reached out to me that they were still interested and had basically no changes or very minimal changes to their pricing sheet. So I'm sure we can retain them as needed.
if we need to. Okay, perfect. So then the only one then is just renewing the Akron Central and the Clarence Central, which I will send out the resolutions and the contracts for, I've already talked to Cindy Treader and Pat at the school, and they are on board. They want us to continue. Clarence is on board. They want us to continue. Akron, because we had such a large price jump last year, which was $2,000. We agreed to keep it at $11,000 for collection for this year. And then once, obviously being a transition year around here, Cindy and I talked about that maybe next year, as long as everybody's happy, we'll talk about a multi-year contract.
That's what I remember last time. There was a multi-year contract in place and then Akron got a little feisty
Mm.
based off of that, right?
Mhm.
And they
Yes.
dropped it down to an annual renewal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I think we're finally back into a good place with them, and I figured when Cindy and I talked as well, and I talked to Jen, to make sure that she was still willing and wanted to do it. Everybody agreed that it was probably better to just do a 1 year for this year, and then next year we'll talk about maybe a 2 or 3 year contract.
Wasn't there something, was it last year when it was getting down to the wire
Yes,
and you had not heard
Yes.
from the Akron school?
yes, so
And
we
it got
have.
to within hours or a day or two.
Right, we have built in a section into the contract that deals with that
eliminated
timing
that.
issue. And that was, now that we have sort of a email chain of, the school needs to copy us on correspondence with the county so that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows the timeframes. Things were much better last year.
It got a little hairy for you, as I
Yes.
recall.
Yes. So we will put those on the agenda for next Monday's meeting to pass the 2 school contracts. And I'll email again those out to you so that y'all can see them and you know what theirs are gonna look like.
When did they have to have the information by? Was it June or something? That information so that then you could supply it
Yes.
to the county or something?
Yes, because believe it or not, templates for the school tax bills come out in June, mid-June.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of that occurring again is rather remote.
Right.
Based on,
Hopefully, yes.
we'll see, I guess.
Yes, we'll see. On to the Building Safety Month resolution, Mr. Miller, I gave you this packet as well. This is the proclamation resolution that he would like us to pass at next week's meeting as well. And then also attached are his Building Safety Month daily safety tips that he is gonna work with Jen, with the sign, to put each of these little message, like a daily message up on the signboard. And we're gonna put them up on the town website as well, for his daily safety tips for Building Safely Month.
The trivia questions up there for the bicentennial.
I'm sure when we get closer, we may do that too.
And Building Safety Month is traditionally made.
Yes, okay. So, yeah, so I figured we put it on for this next meeting and then we pass it in time for the month of May. So I just wanted you to all see that. Library,
Yeah, library board meeting, basically, everything's going pretty good. No leaks in the roof that was repaired. I'd like to get Gene Hobbs out there to look at the other 2 flat roofs. I discussed with the library board that we may not need to apply for a grant for the roofs, but I didn't want to commit to that until we have the other 2 roofs checked out, because they're not the same material as that one. At least they're a different color, maybe the same material. So once we get the green light on that, and we don't, maybe the talk was again to revert back to the fire alarm system, and they're apply for that.
Yeah.
So other than that, I don't remember too much. Hold on. Talk a lot about cookies.
Was
There
there
you
something about lines or shades
Oh,
or something?
Yeah. It's
Yes.
down a little.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, we're on that we can just move that one up one. Yes, Beverly had inquired about the possibility, like we have on this window here, of having blinds put on her office windows. She's finding more and more that, like, when either Christine uses the space during the day, like a yoga class is in there, they have meetings in there. And if she's in her office, she said she just sort of feels like she's in a fishbowl sometimes
Sure.
when people are using the main room and she's in there working, so she had inquired about getting blinds. So John and I sort of talked today, I think we can get them relatively inexpensively and put them up probably ourselves. We just have to get over there and measure them, as long as everybody's okay with that.
When the rec committee met, this past Thursday, the Girl Scouts were.
Yeah.
And so it would have been convenient to send. them.
Yeah.
For distraction, that's all.
Right, just gives you a little
At the
privacy.
cultural center, the rec committee met where they meet.
They normally meet here, but I was told that it was not available.
So the rec board and the Girl Scouts were in the same room that night,
Well,
or?
in
were
No,
the-
they use the
lower.
historian's office.
Oh, they use the historian's
Yeah,
office?
the historian, that's what I'm
Oh,
referring to.
Yeah.
That's where
Okay.
we. had
Yeah,
a
because
meeting.
they actually have an office in there too.
Okay,
The rec, those two little small offices, one is actually the rec office,
I
and then
heard
the other
that.
one is the
I
assistant
didn't know that
historians. Yes,
the other night.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the blinds would be a convenience.
okay, so we'll get some pricing on that and see what we can do. And the other one is the town hall parking lot, which again, I said, Scott reached out today and would like to come in and talk about the parking lot project, so he and I will meet on that. And then we'll bring it back to you guys at next work session. DASNY, the Parks Grant. Again, as I've been cleaning things, I actually finally found Dave's folder on this. And it had a lot of the chain emails in it, so I am going to diligently and actively start trying to reach out and get some status updates on this. Because I'm sure with the transition between his email to my email,
Huh.
things have probably gotten dropped and lost, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So I want to try and start reaching back out to Tremaine and start irritating some people.
you should delegate that down to Doc, he likes Tremaine.
I like Johnny Tremaine.
There you
I don't
go.
know if I like Jerome Tremaine.
There you go. Funny enough, on the CDBG Senior Center, I got a phone call today from the contracts, and I'm trying to total blank on her name. She called me because she had not gotten the contract back, and I said, well, I can explain why. And so I told her that we've been working with Paul about trying to repurpose the grant. She said, okay, no problem. She goes, I'll reach out to Paul just so that he and I are on the same page, so that when they're ready and Paul gives the okay, that she'll redo the contract and send us a new contract with the new scope of what they agreed to. So that was a good phone call. But I think you saw Sarah has now also given me picnic tables and Adirondack chairs and potentially a gazebo. I'm not sure how that's all gonna fly.
Yeah, you know my opinion.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she was still like $10,000 shy of the 25,000, so.
Hmm.
We'll see what he says.
Yeah, so were you able to find the additional items that she was looking for on the state bid?
I'm still waiting for answers back. I put some feelers out, so I have not
Okay,
got answers on those yet.
okay, so I think as soon as we have kind of a complete picture of what Sarah would want and where we're at price wise, then I'll send it to Paul, but he did not respond at all to my last email,
Okay,
so.
all right, maybe,
But
yeah.
he did pick up the phone the last time I called him, so maybe it just got lost.
Okay, well, we'll keep plugging away. The good thing is everybody knows that we haven't forgotten about it and we're attempting, so.
Right.
Yeah. Next topic is the community funding. So I gave you guys each a copy of the sheet because you were wondering what groups we give funding to. And that was the Celebration Committee. Used to give it to the LL Tillman Post, but of course the Tillman Post is no longer. And those actually,
Flip-flop, man.
flip-flopped between the VFW posts.
Right.
So now it's just the VFW post. Dave in this year's budget had set aside
Oh, they're
money.
still both,
Yeah, they're still both working out of
both
one
separate
building.
entities, right?
Really?
Yeah. So the LL Tillman Post is still the American Legion Post. The VFW sold their building on Lewis,
Right.
but are meeting out of the Tillman Post.
So they still exist, but
Both,
they're just.
both organizations still exist, right?
Okay.
The building is
But I-
sold?
Yeah, they sold it,
Yes.
the VFW,
Yes.
And
Who
Louis
bought
Road.
it?
with the
The dog
dog place,
lady.
Great. So
where
what
they take
about?
care of the old
Yeah,
old dog, what was the name of
Why
that
was,
place?
was that a nonprofit?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I thought that was like, there was someone from Scott Levin or something like
Well, you
that,
see,
it was
the
part of
prisoners
that.
have been working there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you probably
Okay.
get free labor there, big guy, yeah.
That's why I don't know if it's
They're,
nonprofit or.
they're gutting it out, right? Well,
Okay.
something whiskers. Something whiskers.
Curly.
Yeah, but they sold it. So, to what I understand right now is I had a meeting there last Tuesday and Shar pulled me off to the side inquiring about Memorial Day.
Mhm.
And I want to say the auxiliary, the Legion Auxiliary, probably picked up the torch and it is running with the celebration. So, I think last year it was Frank and the VFW. This year it'll flip flop over to the Legion.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
but both
nice.
organizations are still there.
They're just housing out of the same. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Which
got
is
it.
what I kind of anticipated. It should be like an Akron Vets Club and you have separate entities that meet. Keep costs down, keep overhead down.
yeah. Okay. All right, so, and then bicentennial money, and then, there's the money for the LL Tillman Post Meeting Room, the VFW Post Meeting Room, Akron Community Band, and the Historical Society. So I sat down with Colleen and talked to her about what, there's always a little bit of extra that they put in there. So she said that they had earmarked $3,000 for the Akron Celebration Committee. The VFW would get their $1,800 this year. Bicentennial had been earmarked 25,000 if we needed it, which we're not going to need that much. LL Tillman Post 900 is 1,000, VFW Post 3180 is 1,000, Akron Community Band is 3,700, and Newstead Historical Society, because we have to deduct out their snow removal, is $5,450.
So. I'm confused now about the VFW and the Legion. So I see 1,000 here, but the 1,800 up here. So this should be LL Tillman, I think, this year, the 1,800 from Memorial Day. And I know these figures down here were for, well, the big one up here, because I know they purchase, I don't know if you guys know, the Legion or the VFW, they alternate every year and they purchase like 5x8 American flags, POW MIA flags. They replace the flags out here. The posts do that with town money to include each individual post. And now you lost one of them, at least
Right.
one of the buildings. So I don't know. I'm speaking
So
from a
you
veteran's
think this
perspective,
one
but I
should be-
think that LL Tillman, you may have to well, I can call Shar and check with her. But I know she was the one that pulled me off to the side looking for a guest speaker for Memorial Day, which made me assume that, I don't think the VFW, I went to a VFW meeting, I don't think they're planning anything with regards to Memorial Day, so it's probably LL Tillman.
Okay, all right, I'll let Colleen know that.
And then this is just, So this one alternates and this one is steady, $1,000 per year
Right.
to both those entities. Okay.
Right.
And I don't know how the rotation process is gonna work. I know, Frank and the VFW was talking a while ago of like washing their hands clean of it, having like the celebration committee or someone else pick it up.
It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But Frank stepped up.
Last fall or something came in.
And he came and said,
Right.
I'm taking care of it. Because it was wasn't gonna happen.
Well, that was,
Right.
yeah,
That was
last
year.
spring,
Last
last spring,
He
right?
came to-
And now this year, I'm assuming it's Shar in the Legion because the VFW is not even talking about it.
Okay. All right, I'll let Colleen know that that's one change. So this is sort of like annual unless something happens with one of these organizations. And obviously the bicentennial is not annual. That was special, knowing that it was our bicentennial. So normally, in normal circumstances, it would only be what, 10, 17, $18,000-ish or whatever. But because of the bicentennial, he loaded money in just in case we needed it. So as long as everybody's good with that, Colleen will get those ready for, the next meeting to go with the bills. They'll be vouchered and we'll get the
Well, this
contracts.
was already budgeted items, right?
Well, yeah, but we get the contracts out and then we actually voucher them. They go
Mhm.
through the voucher process and then we send the checks out.
Well, this came up because of Dan Woods needing some money is how this started, so.
Right, so then this is the other question is, Dan came to us several months ago about starting his Akron Newstead Drug Coalition and had asked about donating. My understanding is the village has given him $500. He was in again a week or so ago asking if there were any updates. And I didn't know, since we're getting ready to do these, does everybody have an opinion about whether we want to donate? And if so, how much, or if not?
What if we matched the 500? Get the How
Everybody-
about we get off the ground and start flying? It's
Um,
supposed to be a good cause.
I guess I'm just concerned that it opens us up to more nonprofits coming and asking for money, but I mean, does that kind of open the door?
Well, once the door is open, we can close it. I mean. Dead on arrival. Okay, next item.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if you guys are into it and you wanna just wait and see whether that goes or doesn't go, that's fine.
I was okay with what Doc came out of the starting blocks with. It's fine, it's $500 for a good cause, but I don't know, you're like Patty was saying, I mean, I go around a lot with my cadets soliciting funds, but I don't go to any townships. Maybe I should start.
Well, and we don't have to make a decision now, think about it. It's something we can always do later.
I mean, and this could be one and done. It's not guaranteed that we're gonna be making an annual contribution to them, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
the village came out and gave him 500, we give him 500 and say, good luck.
Good
I
luck.
got something to say on that in executive session because I don't want it to be.
I'll let you guys go to executive session. How's that? Have a good one.
Okay, Carl.
All right, are we going to executive
Well, the
session?
only thing I got under,
Were we
so
done with everything
We
else?
didn't get the work session for,
Oh, that's just to let you guys know, Drescher and Malecki has asked to come in. They're gonna be here next week at work session to present their 2022 audit results.
and the only other thing I have is, the other would be, I did meet with Mike Lotz from Precision Electric at the NIO building to give us some kind of a quote on what the generator would be there to put in with, to give the information to Rotella and Don, I think you probably already done that, probably, right, it was on Friday.
Yeah, we sent the letters and everything out. They obviously said that it doesn't hurt to have a sheet, you know, to keep when we need it, when we get to that point eventually.
Okay,
But we were good to send the letters out without having the paperwork.
okay.
So,
And then
so
we
have them still do it,
Can
but
we add, like, if there's extra monies, can we use it for that grant? Like, say they award us, or is it gonna be awarded on what we put in for? Like, say they give us I don't know what it was gonna be, $100,000, probably, something in that ballpark.
For an auto generator?
No, for everything to be lumped in with the
Oh,
emergency.
Oh,
with the
yeah,
request
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
emergency
Oh, if
coordinator.
you're talking his total request?
it was
was-
130
Yeah, it was a hundred
With the
plus.
generator.
with the generator.
Yeah, it was 100
Cause what
plus.
I forgot to put in there, and maybe we can address it later, we don't worry about it, was, some of the smaller generators, which don't cost all that much for people who are maybe on oxygen.
I
And we-
believe they were
That's
in
on there?
there,
Okay,
yes.
okay, never mind.
Yes, I can't remember how many were on there,
They-
but I believe there were some on there.
Okay, I think you're right now, I think
Yes.
there was like 6 or
So that
7,
answered
yeah.
my question here,
Okay.
because we were,
Yes.
so we're gonna initially pursue the grant process for Danny.
Letters were mailed.
Okay,
Brian Perry signed off on them Friday, delivered
Okay.
them to me this morning, and they were mailed today.
okay.
Sounds good.
First grant in 4 days.
Okay.
So
No
we're
holding
good.
you back, Supervisor, no holding you back.
Off to a good start. So, all right, we ready for executive session?
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
49.
All right.
we start with the